Hey guys, how's it going? Kripan here. Here I am at the ESL studios, mid-casting, pumping up some YouTube videos, and I know I've missed a few things. I'm a little bit behind on this one, but I know the big news in Hearthstone is, what was once a sneaky new warrior reveal. It turned out to be Magni. I don't know, some dwarf dude. Magni Bronzebeard. So this is basically the new warrior. It's an option. It's basically, Blizzard has introduced new skins for the classes, and Magni's pretty cool. He's a dwarf, and everyone's playing Grim Patron Warriors, so the dwarves summoning up more dwarves, so it's cool in that sense, I guess. Everyone's getting in here all dwarf style, and that's pretty awesome. There's a few details about it. Yeah, so you get it for $10, more if you're in other countries, and of course it's purely cosmetic. There is no win aspects to it. It's not like buying packs or anything like that. And because of that, I'd imagine that it'll stay $10. I don't imagine there'll ever be a gold equivalent that you can buy these portraits for. And the hero package includes the card back, so you get a pretty nice card back. But these days, you kind of have a lot of card backs, so I don't know if this one really takes the cake. I mean, people might use this for like a week, and then, well, maybe as they release more of these, you'll get more card backs, and well, maybe that's a thing. And of course, you're able to select this hero instead of Garrosh, because Garrosh is kind of whatever, I guess. It's somewhat fitting in the lore aspect because Garrosh is a bit of a loser when it comes to World of Warcraft right now. So I guess you can very quickly replace him and use Mr. Magni, and that's pretty cool. A few details here off the list. The portraits come animated by default, which I'm pretty sure means that you basically get a golden portrait, but you don't get a golden hero power by default. So it's a little bit interesting in that sense. And of course, that is very different from the other heroes that are available by default, which you have to get 500 wins with to get the shiny little portrait. And they have, different stuff. They obviously have different animations. They have different emotes. This one, when you click the hero power, you get the hammer armor, so that's pretty cool. They tried to like make it, extra special. They really try to make it something that you can feel good about buying. But well, we'll talk more about that in a second. And yeah, that's mostly it. So it's pretty cool. I like this stuff. It's $10. You get the card back. It's still kind of rough on the value, but the new emotes make it kind of cool. You also can expect some new interactions. So, for instance, when you play like Vol'jin against Garrosh, you will get who's the war chief now or some shit like that. And I don't think Blizzard's lazy enough to keep that in the game, so probably they're going to rework some of the card play sounds so they're more fitting. And while I don't really imagine much in terms of those with Magni, but well, that's just the warrior. There's probably going to be more hero skins, at the very least one for each class. This is not really a process they can kind of loop on to no end. I mean, when you have like 10 different skins for every class, nobody's really going to give a shit if you release the 11th one. But they're probably going to pump out a few, at least one for each different class. And with all this kind of stuff, there is most likely going to be some redoing of the sound animations. So speaking of that, it's kind of interesting to note that there are some cool conceptual stuff. I tried to imagine what other classes they could put in the game. So what's your favorite World of Warcraft dude? What class could he be? So yeah, I like Illidan. Illidan could be like a rogue. But then again, because they chose Magni and he's not actually a card already in the game, it might be. In fact, it probably is the fact that they won't have cards that exist in the game that are playable heroes. So yeah, I don't really know the Warcraft lore well enough to really give much suggestions out there. But I can imagine that there will be reasonable suggestions that some people have heard a little bit about that they might be able to use as heroes. And I'd imagine that these will have different sound animations and all that kind of stuff and all the coolness that we've seen some of already in the Magni. So yeah, we're probably not getting existing cards. We're probably not getting Illidan. And Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I like the stuff. Some people don't. Some people have expressed quite a lot of hate towards this thing, and I wanted to talk a bit about that today. So the first thing is that it's expensive. $10 is expensive for something like this, and I kind of agree. But at the same time, I don't think it's too unreasonable for Blizzard to really push this. It is, of course, aggressive pricing, but my idea is that if like people want this for like $5. People think that they'd buy this for $5 and feel good. People might buy it for $10 and feel not so good. But my idea is that if someone's going to spend $10 for this, or if they're going to spend $5 for this, they just buy it anyway. It's just they're paying not really that much for something that's basically completely irrelevant. So if you're going to pay $5 for this guy, you're probably going to pay $10 anyway, and that just doubles the profit that Blizzard gets. So that's pretty sweet. People compared this to like money and content releases, how much work Blizzard has to do for the money that we pay for the content. So in some cases, they compared it to like Blackrock Mountain, where there's like 17 plus portraits, and well, you only get that for $25, and here you pay 10 for just the portrait. No cards, no PvE content, no super interactions, none of that. But it's a little bit different, though. At the same time, in that scale, it does seem a little bit unreasonable. But if you really, really want to be a Mr. Magni, the little dwarf dude, when you play your warrior, in fact, when you play any class, you can actually get them for free, as one user pointed out. It's not too hard to tape a piece of paper over your screen to become the hero of your choosing. But there are some things that also don't really make too much sense, and people kind of thought about what more Blizzard can do for like people's monies, because it does seem like this might be like an ongoing thing. At the very least, we're going to get 8 more of these, and if Cardbacks has shown us anything, we're probably going to get like 5 card skins or reclassings or whatever they are for every single class right now. So one thing that people have suggested is, when Warrior is Garrosh, it kind of makes sense. You got the axes and stuff, but some class cards don't really work if you change the hero behind them, and that's somewhat understandable. So the suggestion was that with Magni not really using the Fiery War Axes of the Horde and all that kind of stuff, maybe you can change cards like Fiery War Axe into other versions. They would automatically change when you use that skin. So Fiery War Axe could become like the old Dwarven Hammer, which basically does the same thing. It's the same card. And yes, it might be a bit confusing for new players, but I mean, it's already confusing enough. If you're playing against Magni, if you're playing against Garrosh, players will already be confused about what's going on. This is a little bit more confusing, I guess, but come on, give me a break. Like, people are playing Hearthstone. If it's just noobs playing Hearthstone, they're just going to have fun no matter what, and if it's good players playing Hearthstone, I think they're going to enjoy the variety. So if Blizzard did that, if Blizzard changed like a whole set of cards with the portrait when they sold it for people for $5 or for $10, yeah, people would be a bit happier. So that's kind of the issue. People are just a bit unhappy that they're not really getting that much for $10, and it is a pretty competitive gaming environment out there for people's monies in terms of like games that are free to play but microtransaction based. I've played quite a few of them, and I don't find this too unreasonable, especially when you compare it to the other Blizzard games. Like Here's the Storm is well known as a pretty expensive game, and World of Warcraft is more than that, where you would buy just dumb mounts for like $25 sometimes, but people buy them, The culture that Blizzard has developed in their games are people who will spend money on dumb stuff in their games. And, I think $10 is just fine. I think it's in line with everything else. But it is cooler if we got a bit more content. I'm not so much about the money. I just want more content. And this is the other note that people have been a little bit upset on. There's a long list of issues that people want solved, and people see this change as a ridiculous one. So it's a change that literally doesn't impact the game in any direct way outside of just fluffy stuff. So that's kind of true, but some people don't really take into account that it doesn't really take much development time. Some people have gone to the extreme that they've said it takes 0 development time. I think that's actually not true. It takes some, just basically none. Blizzard works in different departments. Each little each little slice of the pie does something, and the main something that's produced by this is done by the art department. So it just gives them something to do, while the developers who work on the balancing, on creating new cards, on like actual new content, they're basically just doing their thing. There's a little bit more depth to it because decisions have to be made and they have to be checked on. People have to be okay with things. They have to like brainstorm ideas. They have to come up with like lore stuff. And most likely there's going to be like some of the sound guys that have to do stuff when it comes to like play sounds. But even then, I think it's pretty minor. I don't think this really sets back much. I think overall it's kind of cool. I like all these fluffy little things that kind of come towards the game and just add to it. At the same time, Blizzard makes more money, which I guess is good too, because if they get more money, they focus more on the game. Maybe they get more people to work on the game. Maybe they get more content pumped out. So overall, even though some people really hate it and are really disappointed with this, I think overall this is a very good thing. And, I hope that Blizzard really sees that people respond, at least on the business end, pretty well to these type of decisions. I think a lot of people are going to pay their $10 to get Mr. Magni instead of their warrior portrait. And I think because of that, we'll move the game forward into one that content is more frequently released, in the very worst case at least. So I think it's all good stuff. I'm pretty excited to play Magni. I hope the other heroes come out sooner. I was kind of hoping that the first hero skin would be Priest, because nobody is playing Priest and everybody is playing Warrior, because there's a few things that you can kind of do with these new hero skins that I think Blizzard kind of failed to. So if you release a new Warrior skin, then you just push people to play more Grim Patron Warrior, which people are kind of getting a bit frustrated on ladder playing against already. But if you make it like Priest, if you make it like Shaman, people will play those classes just to use their new hero portrait, which kind of artificially changes the meta just because of the release time, which is really cool. So I think Blizzard kind of blew that one. And, maybe the next one will be Priest, and maybe it'll be kind of cool in that sense. And also, I think the skins are a good way to release additional content. So if Blizzard had in mind to include more emotes in the game, which is something that I think they had on the development side, very early stages of the game, if they do want to include more emotes, this is a great way to realize them, because you're going to be emoting more when you have your new hero, getting more emotes, getting people more interactive. There's some cool side effects they can have to any released content, and I don't think they did too good of a job with this one in terms of making that happen. But yeah, there's still time, and there's probably going to be a lot of hero skins yet to come out. So we'll see what those are like. I think it's all good. Hope you guys enjoy it. I'll see you guys tomorrow.